What do you think? Good. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It's Friday, June 17th, 2016, and I'm headed into work for the day. Last night was really amazing, so I didn't have anything planned. I came home and I was beat. I was exhausted. So that clip of that silver car, that old, whatever the hell it was, a Chevy or something, that car was at Walmart. So last night after work, or on the way home from work, I went grocery shopping, and not for a ton of stuff, just I bought stuff for my lunches, and I bought Grant a little game for his LeapPad tablet. And then after that, I came home. I was like in zombie mode, so I had a couple drinks, and then I went hot tubbing by myself. So I don't normally like going hot tubbing by myself, but I was so sore. When I first got home at like 7, the hot tub was 105 degrees. So I opened up the lid, and probably by about like 9, it went down to around 100 degrees, and that was good. So it was the air temp was 68, 70 degrees last night, so 100 degrees isn't too bad. If it would have been 80 or 90 out, then 100 degrees probably would have been too hot. But oh, I forgot, let's check in with the Ethereum report, shall we? There you have it. That's what 5 miners up and running for an entire day looks like. Not too shabby, huh? I think since yesterday's report, I got, was it 3 or 4 payments of like 250 each? So what day was that I was all excited that I made my first full unit of Ether? I think it was just like 2 days ago. Well, I already hit 2 units of Ether now. So Ethereum went up yesterday, like around 5-6 p.m. It was over 20 bucks, so it went up like 7%. So I'm hoping it keeps that trend and doubles every 2 months or so. I found out, I think I might have mentioned it, but the new graphics cards are coming out in about 2 weeks. So I'm going to see if I can mine with the existing ones that I have. I have R9 380s, and I bought them through Amazon. I'm hoping that I can just return them after those 2 weeks are up. So I'd have them for roughly about 3 weeks. I heard that there's like a 30-day return policy, so I have 30 days to send them back. But I'm thinking I'll buy some of those new ones as soon as they come out. The new ones are like dirt freaking cheap. They're only going to be 200 bucks. They're supposed to be more powerful, of course, than the old ones, or the ones that I have now. And I haven't tried to figure out what the hash rate is on these new ones. So the hash rate on mine now are about 19 or 20 per card, mega hash per second. So that would be awesome if I can get better or more with the new cards, and basically just swap them out for the ones that I already have. I did order another power supply. I think I mentioned that yesterday. I figured out that I'm overdriving my power supply. I'm running 5 graphics cards on one power supply. It's a 1,000-watt power supply. Each graphics card under load consumes about 200 watts. Oh, that's another thing about the new cards. The new cards only consume about 100 to 150 at most watts, and they're more powerful. So I'll be able to run 5 cards on one power supply. But I did order a new power supply. It's coming today, so that way I can get I'll probably get a couple of them off of that other power supply. So I'll have 3 running on one power supply, which is about 600 watts, and 2 running on the other one, which should be about 400 watts or so. And once I get more money, that allow me to just scale up and add more cards or more nodes or miners or whatever to each power supply. With those new cards, like I said, I'll be able to run, shit, if each card's 150, I could run 150 watts, I could run 6 cards per power supply. So I could have a 12 miner setup just running off of 2 external power supplies. I don't know if I have 12 friggin' machines, but I could probably spin up a couple more. I'm off on a tangent now. So today I'm exhausted. I'm going to Vicky's right from work. I slept like a log last night. But yeah, I'm going right to Vicky's from work. And what was I gonna say? I'm gonna try to conserve my energy at work today, so that way I'm not completely dead tonight like I was last night. I drank like a gallon of Diet Coke yesterday. It was bad. So maybe that's why I was feeling pretty zen-like around like 9 p.m. That's probably when all the caffeine finally kicked in. Oh, I got those switches that I can mount. Maybe I'll do a couple of those and see how those go. But yeah, I'm gonna drive. Stay tuned for more. This is awesome. So 97.9 The Loop, the Man Cow show, he has Marlon Wayans on, and while they were interviewing him, just randomly, I guess, I don't know, but Frank Thomas walked in. So I used to really be big into baseball cards and sports when I was younger, like Grant's age and stuff. So well, probably even Jack's age. And out of all the baseball players, I actually had a dedicated Frank Thomas baseball card collection. I still have it, but his name was the Big Hurt, and because he was kind of like how I was growing up playing baseball. He was just like this big dude, and he would either hit a home run or strike out. So it was like sink or swim with him. But yeah, so it's really cool to hear him on the radio and stuff. So yeah, happy Friday. What's going on, everybody? Just getting out of work for the day, and as you can tell, I have my windshield mount set up because I got a lot of driving ahead of me here. I'm headed south to go see Vicky, and probably gonna have about a 4-hour drive or so. We'll see. Kind of getting everything set up to figure out the details. It's a nice day out. It is, car says 93 degrees and sunny, and today went by quick. I had a lot of work's been kicking my ass. It's been really busy. Just getting my GPS set up so I can get on the road here. So yeah, it's been quite the day. So spent a lot of time today messing around with stock prices and all that. I spent a lot of money to buy into my company stock today. I converted my first cryptocurrency. I did my first conversion today. So Bitcoins are up, Ether's down. So Ether was like $20 per unit yesterday, and today it was down to like almost $14. So I had set up a Coinbase account like a week and a half ago, and I forgot that I had transferred $20 into it. $20 20 US dollars, that's how much Bitcoins I bought. Well, so I was watching a video today, and the guy was like, oh, well, how do we get ethers? He's like, well, we buy ethers with our Bitcoins. And he was talking about basically trading back and forth. So, you know, based on the prices or the conditions, you know, converting from Bitcoin to ether and vice versa. And I was like, huh. And this video was a couple months old. But what he was basically saying was that ether and Bitcoins are tied together, which explains why they rate the value of ether as in relation to Bitcoins. They always say like 1 ether is 0.003 Bitcoins or something. So, having said that, I was like, okay, alright. You know, because I was trying to figure out, like, alright, instead of spending $1,500 on hardware, why don't I just spend $1,500 and buy the damn Bitcoins? Or, like, ether. Just buy it straight up instead of trying to mine it. And then I was like, well, how do I go about buying ether, like, directly? And the answer to that is, like the guy, I mean, I found it out myself, but like the guy was saying, you have to basically buy Bitcoins and then spend the Bitcoins to buy the ether, to convert it, essentially. I was like, okay. So, and then, but he was relating how that, you know, typically when ether goes down, Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoins goes up. So it's just like the stock market. I was like, okay. So, like I said, ether today dropped, it was like 35% lower than it was yesterday. It was like down 35%. I was like, wow. So I'm like, oh, let me go see what Bitcoins are trading at. And they're like $700 or something. And I was like, wow. Because they were down to like 400 a couple weeks ago, or a week and a half ago. I was like, okay, so Bitcoins are up, ether's down. I own a little bit of Bitcoin. I owned like 0.003 worth of one Bitcoin, $20 worth. So I'm like, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna convert my Bitcoins to ether. So that's what I did. I only did a test transaction. So I sent 0.01. I think I own 0.03 Bitcoins. So I transferred 0.01, which was like $7-8 worth of Bitcoins, to my ether wallet. And, you know, of course it worked. I used a website or service called shapeshift.io, and you just put in like what type of conversion you want to do. They're kind of like the middleman. They charge you a little bit to do the processing and validating and all that. I don't know how much yet. I didn't do the math to try to figure that out. So where I'm going with this whole story is, it reminds me of the time years ago when I was day trading. I was day trading options in hopes of striking it rich and stuff. Well, these cryptocurrencies, they're very volatile, which makes them perfect for, you know, trading like frequently or often. And so I was like, huh, I bet you I could day trade these cryptocurrencies. The only thing is, to convert them back and forth, I gotta figure out how much that fee is. That might kind of kill it if you don't have, you know, if you're not making big conversions. Yeah, so learned a lot today. Luke, like first thing this morning, sent me a message, and it said that there was some sort of an attack or hacker that attacked the DAO. I didn't even, you know, and I guess that was going to impact or affect Ethereum. So they were talking about, well, maybe we can do like a soft fork or a hard fork and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, I don't, you know, like as soon as I started to kind of grasp the concept of digital or cryptocurrency, like new stuff comes along and it just blows my mind. I'm like, what the hell? So I started researching DAO, and it stands for like Digital Autonomous Organization or something. So I got a document that I'll read off, but basically they said it was like created using like smart contracts and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's almost like a separate fund, separate than like the main blockchain, I guess. I don't know. So this is where I get really confused, because I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's exciting at the same time. So with the DAO, somebody attacked it or leached it or something, where they were bleeding all of the ether out of this smaller wallet or something that this big contract or the DAO encompassed. So they're trying to talk about hard forking the blockchain to essentially like lock in what's done already and make it so like the money or the ethers that person was stealing are null and void or whatever. I don't know. So I tried to do some research on the DAO. It kind of explained the concept of the DAO, but it says we don't know who created it. We have the address in the blockchain showing like the address of the person that created it, but they don't know who owns that address. So I keep circling back on the concept of, you know, how is any of this worth any intrinsic value? But I think today I kind of just had a breakthrough where I realized, like, you know, US dollar is fiat currency. It's not really backed by, you know, anything. If you play any modern video game these days, they all have their own built-in currency systems, either a crude or rudimentary stock market system, or a goods and services type of system. And typically with every video game or whatever, what ends up happening is there's like essentially a market is built or created around these systems that are built in the game. So for instance, like for like one of the shooting video games, Counter-Strike, you can like unlock crates and get weapons and stuff and things. Well, you know, some of the stuff is more rare than others. Some of it takes a long time to build or craft or create using a bunch of other pieces, so it's like higher value. And what ends up happening is people hold on, we got an accident right there. We just passed accidents minor. So what ends up happening is people assign basically monetary values to all these goods and products and stuff, and it's all just imaginary bullshit built into a video game. So like, you know, you might be able to get like a rare knife skin or something in Counter-Strike. Well, you can go on a system or a market that someone set up and pay, I don't know, $100 and buy one of these things, and then that's like assigning like legit hard cash or US dollars to these digital goods. So kind of once I started realizing, like, this is the way that that life is going to go, or the direction that life's going to go, where you know, maybe one day, I hate to say it, but maybe one day, like our retirement and all that will be based in like cryptocurrency or something. Like, it's an idea. So, like I said, having said that, I transferred a little bit of ether. I forgot. So I transferred 0.01 bitcoins to ether, and I think it translated to like 0.3 of 1 ether, something like that, maybe 0.5. So with the mining that I did today, or you know, yeah, I'm at like a little over, I want to say 3 ether in my wallet, which is with the crash of Ethereum today, it's only worth like $45, but whatever. So it's been quite the day. It's been quite the week. You know, I've been working on this, studying this, trying to learn all this in my free time. Invested, you know, quite a big chunk of change into hardware. Found out that it's going to be upgraded or obsolete in like 2-3 weeks. So I'm hoping I can return it and get the newer model. It's just amazing. It's amazing that I like learning new stuff. I like understanding things. I like correlating things. And this stuff just blows my mind, man. And there's people that have been out there doing this for years. You know, I used to watch, my dad used to put on these stock shows. I can't think of the guy's name right now. He is a bald-headed dude, and he just yells the whole time about stocks and stock prices and stuff. And, you know, I guess pretty soon here we're going to have the same thing going on with cryptocurrencies. Just amazing. So, and it's these currencies or whatever, they're basically decentralized currency, so not regulated by anyone necessarily. It's just amazing. I don't know. Traffic is horrible, by the way. I'm so glad I got this mount. Hopefully it's pointing right at me. Yeah, let's take a break here, shall we? So I'm just made it to the border. I still have 180 miles to go, according to my GPS. Like 3 hours. The traffic is absolutely horrible today. Well, I should say right at the border here. So I had a little bit of a scare with this Ethereum stuff this morning. So this, I've been doing this pool mining, and it, they pay out like every 6 hours. So it was, usually they pay out at like 9 a.m. So it was like, you know, coming up to 9 a.m. or so, and I had, I think like 0.18 ether or something like that. So because I was above 0.1, I knew I should get a payout. I took a screenshot about 8:45, and it said you know, my balance in my pool mining account, and then once they pay it out, my balance kind of resets. Well, my balance went to zero. Like, I checked it, I took the screenshot at 8:45 for the Ethereum report. At like 9:30 a.m. I checked it again. My balance was completely zeroed out. I had, under the payments tab, I had no payments, so they didn't pay it out. And then in my wallet, I didn't have the credit showing that I got paid. So I was like, shit, where did my ether go? I mean, it was only like 0.18 ether or something like that. But I was like, you know, I don't want to be mining in this pool mining setup and not getting paid. Like, I'll go to someone else or a different one. So I don't know. I sent them an email, the people that run the mining setup, and kind of just said what happened. I said, you know, took a screenshot at 8:45, and it showed my balance is like 1.8 ether, or I should say 0.18 ether. And then sent them another screenshot at 9:30, and I said, you know, my balance is gone, but I didn't get a payment. So what's going on here? So within 20-30 minutes, I checked again, and everything was good. So like, I got paid. It showed up in my wallet, and then my ether balance in the pool mining thing was counting up again because my miners were still active. Very weird. I mean, I've only been mining for, I think, a week. Yeah, this will be, like, this weekend coming up here will be my second weekend mining. So I haven't really been active for that long. So I don't know what happened, if this is normal or what's going on. So the next payout, so that payout was supposed to be at 9. It didn't come through to almost 10. The next payout was supposed to be at like 3 p.m. and they didn't pay that one out until like 3:45 p.m. But at least my balance was showing. I don't know why my balance like wigged out and didn't show my balance earlier this morning. So I was kind of sweating a little bit. I'm like, you know, until it shows up in your wallet, you have nothing. Ethereum, it's a proof of work POW system, and so you got to do the work to get the reward. And with the pool mining, like I said, your balance accrues in the pool account until they pay you. So when that balance in the pool account was zeroed out, I was like, oh shoot, I just did, you know, 6+ hours of mining and I wasn't going to get paid for it. But they fixed it, or it went through. I don't know what happened. I don't know if their system got backlogged. Can you tell I'm really into this Ethereum stuff? It's crazy. Like, I guess that's how I am with all things. I kind of find something I'm really interested in or want to learn about, and I don't just dabble, I just jump right in. Wish I would have heard about Ethereum sooner, let me tell you that. So I think I heard about it, my buddy told me about it, and within a week or less, I was out already ordering hardware to start mining. So my account, like I said, it's at 3 Ether right now. And let's hope it goes well. So I'm only doing about 10 to 15 miles an hour. I gotta pee so bad. I'm gonna need to figure out something to do here. So one last note on this Ethereum stuff. My hash rate has gone down today, like bad. I'm not sure why or what's going on. Maybe the difficulty changed, but I don't think that should change my hash rate. But like it went from, it was like 103 mega hash a second down to my 6-hour average is 87. So we'll see if that picks up during the night hours or what's going on. My estimated earnings, it was like over $500 or around $500. Now it's $246, probably because the price of Ethereum crashed. But because I'm mining it, it doesn't really matter what the value does. As long as I have those ethers, it can move and groove all it wants. I just want to obtain and grab as many of those ethers as I can. So if I like just dropped $1,500 and bought them outright, I'd be a little pissed that it dropped 30%. I would be down, what, $400 or $500 almost. So yeah, like $400 I'd be down. So maybe mining is the way to go. I wasn't convinced initially, but we'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned for more. So it's almost 8:30. I'm still driving. I still got, GPS is telling me an hour and a half. I'm pretty much in bumper to bumper traffic here. I'm entering into or coming up upon a construction zone, and it says the left lane's closed. It's only a 2-lane highway at this point. So I'm in the left lane right now, but apparently everyone's merging over. So I still have a long ways to go, but what I've been working on here while driving is listening in on a bunch of YouTube training videos or informational videos about Ethereum and Ether. Very, very informative. So I've watched probably about 2.5 hours, all explaining everything from the ground up, and it's been pretty amazing, to be honest. So Ethereum is the platform, Ether is the currency. That I didn't know. And Ethereum is kind of like a platform that consists of smart contracts, which is a little bit different or better way of doing things than how Bitcoin works. Now, earlier I mentioned there was an issue with a DAO, or the DAO, and these training videos were talking about dApps, decentralized applications, and they were also talking about how there'll be eventually like a dApp store, so kind of like iTunes or Google Play or whatever. There'll be a store that you can go to and visit and check out all these dApps, decentralized applications. So that, I think, is something that's going to give Ethereum as a platform some really good solid foundation groundwork for longevity. I stumbled across dApps this week, and I just kind of drilled into one of them. It was just like a big panel of all these squares, and you can click on them and like read more info about each dApp. And one was like, you could pledge Ether for like a decision making process. And I didn't. Wow, this person next to me is cranking music. YouTube's gonna kill this video. So like I didn't understand the one dApp that I was looking at. So the guy in this training video was kind of explaining how some of these can work, and he kind of the one he explained actually kind of was like the one that I was checking out, and it was like a yes/no binary decision. It was almost basically gambling, and the example he used was like, will Hillary Clinton win the presidential race? So yes or no. So you could pledge or buy shares towards the yes side or towards the no side, and then whichever side wins, you basically win a stake or a share or a percentage of the other bets. The other bets meaning like people, like, let's say I voted yes, she would win, and she does win, I would get X amount of shares or percentage based off of all the people that pledged no, she wouldn't win. And then he was talking about like trust and maliciousness and stuff like that. So like there's got to be somebody that validates that or reports back and says like if she won or not. Obviously they could lie, but he was explaining how there's going to be safeguards and stuff like that put in place that ensures that if someone does lie, they get penalized. So it's in their best interest not to lie or whatever. So it's very interesting stuff. So he was talking about dApps, and then he started talking about DAOs, and I still got another hour in this video to watch. But the DAOs were the like basically like the decentralized organizations, so companies. So he started, for example, talking about a couple different projects which are run as DAOs, and you basically buy in or buy tokens for like those particular companies using Ether. So you invest your Ether to buy tokens, which equates to like a stake in the company. And once you do that, that gives you a say in making decisions for the company and stuff like that. So because it's set up like that, the company is decentralized. So it's not like one owner or whatever. It's a group of people that invest in that company or that startup or that project or whatever. And after watching these videos now, all this is kind of making sense. So it's kind of like a whole system. Like I said, Ethereum's the platform, Ether is just like the currency. So before I was just like, all I knew about was a little bit of info about Ether, not like the background story and all that. So it sounds like this is all like Ethereum came about probably about November of 2015. They did basically like I think it was like a 15 or 20, yeah, I think like a $15 million IPO type of thing. And yeah, so, and then he was talking about a thing called Mist, and I've come across it. I didn't learn much about it yet, but Mist is going to be, I think he was explaining it as it'll be the go-to app store for, or I should say DApp store. So this is good. I'm learning a lot of stuff here, and I'll probably be watching another hour tonight. We'll see. Once it gets dark, it's a little obvious that I'm, you know, playing video on my phone in the car. But if anything, I'll check out more of this tomorrow. I'm getting a little tired. It's pretty dry, but I'm finding it fascinating. So I guess Ethereum was born or pitched or whatever at DevCon 0, which was the first DevCon, but they're clever and called it DevCon 0. So I don't know. Something to look into, something fun to play with and do. But he was also talking about proof of work versus proof of stake, and that was some very interesting stuff. So yeah, I'll talk more about that later. I'm getting tired. See you out there.